Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the norma occipitalis. When the skull is studied from the posterior aspect, it is known as for norma occipitalis, and it is convex upward. It is convex upward and flat below. The bones forming the norma occipitalis are: there is a paired bone, that is the parietal bone, and here is the squamous part of occipital, this is unpaired part, and the mastoid part of temporal bone. So there are three bones taking part, two paired bones and one unpaired bone. The unpaired bone part is squamous part of the occipital bone, and the paired are mastoid part of the occipital bone and the parietal bone. And the sutures are, you can see this is the sagittal suture, and we can say this as the posterior part of the sagittal suture. The next suture is the lambdoid suture. It is formed between the two parietal by the parietal and the squamous part of the occipital bone, and this suture which is called the lambdoid suture. And here is another suture which is formed by the part of mastoid part of temporal bone and the occipital bone, and here is the mastoid part of temporal bone and the parietal bone. So we can say this suture here, we can say this is the occipitomastoid suture, which means the occipital part of the squamous part of the occipital bone and the mastoid part of the temporal bone, which forms a suture which is called the occipitomastoid suture, and this part which is called the parietomastoid suture. The parietal bone and the mastoid part of the temporal bone which form a suture which is called the parietomastoid suture. Here the occipitomastoid and this is the parietomastoid, and here this lambdoid suture meet at the junction between the occipitomastoid and the parietomastoid suture. Okay, so we have the posterior part of the sagittal suture, lambdoid suture, occipitomastoid suture, parietomastoid suture, and the lambdoid suture meet at the junction of occipito suture and the parietomastoid suture. Okay, and here we can see some other features also. The features which is seen in the norma occipitalis, which is called, first of all we can see this protuberance which is called the external occipital protuberance, and a line passing downward or a crest which is called the external occipital crest. And here is the superior nuchal line, inferior nuchal line, and here comes the highest nuchal line. Okay, superior nuchal line, inferior nuchal line, highest nuchal line, and here which is called the mastoid process with its mastoid notch. Here in the posterior part, here comes the lateral surface and here comes the medial surface. In the medial part there is a mastoid notch, and near to the occipitomastoid suture there is a foramen present over here, and that is called the mastoid foramen. First of all, the external occipital protuberance, and we know that the midline protuberance of the lower part of norma occipitalis, which is called the external occipital protuberance, and here is highest prominent point, its highest prominent point, which is called the inion, and the here in the external occipital protuberance, the upper part of the protuberance, there is the attachment of trapezius. The trapezius originate from the upper part of the protuberance, and in the lower part of the protuberance there originate the ligamentum nuchae, and also in the external occipital crest there is the attachment of ligamentum nuchae. Next is the superior nuchal line. Here it is a curved ridge passing laterally in the from the external occipital protuberance, and this external occipital protuberance and the superior nuchal line, these mark the junction of head and neck posteriorly, and from the medial part, medial 1/3 of the superior nuchal line, there originate the trapezius, and the lateral 2/3 there is inserted the sternomastoid. So in the superior nuchal line, in the medial 1/3 there originate trapezius, and here in the lateral 2/3 there is the insertion of sternomastoid. And splenius capitis is also inserted in the latter part just below the attachment of sternomastoid muscle. Then the highest nuchal line, which is present 1 centimeter above the superior nuchal line, and here in the medial part of the highest nuchal line there is the attachment of epicranial aponeurosis, and in the lateral part there is the attachment of origin of occipital belly of occipitofrontalis muscle. So the highest nuchal line, in the medial part there is the attachment of epicranial aponeurosis, and in the lateral part there is the origin of occipital belly of occipitofrontalis muscle. Then the another ridge which is called the inferior nuchal line. This is another ridge which runs laterally from the middle of external occipital crest. Okay, and between the superior nuchal line and the inferior nuchal line there is the attachment of two muscles. First one is the semispinalis capitis on the medially, and obliquus capitis posterior laterally. Semispinalis capitis medially and obliquus capitis superior on the latter part. Same like that, there are two muscle attached just below the inferior nuchal line. They are rectus capitis posterior major laterally and rectus capitis posterior minor medially. And you have studied these two muscles in the suboccipital triangle. So the rectus capitis posterior major laterally and rectus capitis posterior minor medially. So here in the posterior view of norma occipitalis, in the squamous part of the occipital bone, there consist of external occipital protuberance, and the highest prominent point of external occipital protuberance which is called the inion, and from there a crest runs downward which is the external occipital crest, and there consist of three nuchal lines. From the occipital protuberance there arises laterally a ridge which is called the superior nuchal line. From the middle of the crest towards the lateral side there is another ridge which is the inferior nuchal line, and another nuchal line on the superior 1 centimeter above the superior occipital superior nuchal line, which is called the highest nuchal line. Okay, and next we are going to look on what are the features seen in the mastoid process in the view of norma occipitalis. Next is the mastoid part. The mastoid part or the mastoid process, it consists of lateral surface and a medial part. Okay, the lateral part which consists of muscles, there attaches the lateral surface, there attachment of three muscles, sternomastoid, splenius capitis and the longissimus capitis. So there attachment of three muscles, sternomastoid, splenius capitis and longissimus capitis. And in the medial part, on the medial surface we have a notch here, and this notch which is called the mastoid notch, and from it originates the posterior belly of digastric muscle originate from the mastoid notch. Okay, and an occipital groove is observed medial to the mastoid notch, and this groove lodges the occipital artery. Then we have a foramen over here. This is called the mastoid foramen, located near to the occipitomastoid suture, and this foramen, here is a foramen, and it transfers meningeal branch of the occipital artery and the emissary vein. And these are the features found on the norma occipitalis. And here consists of a meeting point which is called the lambda. The lambda which is formed by the sagittal suture and the rhomboid suture. The two rhomboid suture and the sagittal suture which meet at a point which is called the lambda. And here in the fetal skull we can say that it is the posterior fontanelle. Posterior fontanelle. Then another point which is called the asterion, which is formed by the rhomboid suture and the occipitomastoid and parotomastoid suture, where the meeting point of parotomastoid, occipitomastoid and the rhomboid suture, this point which is called the asterion, and we can say this as the mastoid fontanelle. So these are the features of norma occipitalis. First of all, the bones forming the norma occipitalis, parietal bone, occipital and the mastoid part of temporal, and the sutures, sagittal suture, rhomboid suture, occipitomastoid, parotomastoid, and points rhomboid, and here it is called the lambda, and it is from the posterior fontanelle. This is the asterion from the mastoid fontanelle. Then the features which is seen on the posterior part of the skull which is called the norma occipitalis, and here the features are external occipital protuberance, external occipital crust, highest nuchal line, superior nuchal line, inferior nuchal line, then highest point of external occipital protuberance which is called the inion, and we have the mastoid part, mastoid process, and here is the attachment of muscles, and the medial part there is a notch. There is the attachment of posterior belly of digastric, and there is a groove for the occipital artery, and near to the occipitomastoid nuchus there is a foramen, mastoid foramen, and there passes the occipital artery and meningeal branch. So write down the notes, study well what are the features of it. So thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you very much.